The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by ShootProof, the easy way to proof and sell your photos online.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Curran and Joseph Christina as they chat about the art and business of photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 118. I'm Joseph Christina here with my co-host Trevor Curran. On last week's episode, we talked about some great deals on both Apple and Adobe products, Google prepares for screenless computers, and the iPhone Photography Awards. If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com, in iTunes, listen through the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox Music apps, or watch in HD on TiVo.
Hey, Joe, we are back. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, my friend, we are here.
Yes.
We are back.
Yes. Another week.
Yes. Another week, episode 118.
I know. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Summer's flying, man.
I know.
We're pumping through these summer episodes.
I know. I'm kind of glad. I'm like ready for some cooler weather. I'm just like done with the heat. I'm like ready to get back to the swing of things because, you know, down here in Florida, photographically, the summer is kind of, you know, there's a little bit of like doldrums going on. I guess it's kind of like the summer doldrums. But, you know, as we get closer to quote unquote season again, it gets kind of nutty.
Yeah, things start picking up for you.
Yeah, you got
good.
Fashion Week. You know, Fashion Week coming up on up north, of course, by you in New York. Yep. You got Fashion Week down in Miami. You got a lot of different things that go on. There's a lot of movement, a lot of things that happen towards fourth quarter is when it kind of picks up again for us.
Yeah, it's good that you're able to at least enjoy some downtime. I mean, especially when the kids are home. I know for me, this summer actually has been rather busy. I mean, I think I've mentioned that before. We've had a lot of new projects come in, and these are kind of just the opposite. They're actually wanting to get the projects done over the summer, so they're ready to go for when everybody gets done with their summer breaks in the September, October timeframe. So, yeah, we've been cranking away. We got a bunch of websites going on that we're doing, a couple for authors and for equine industry and photography industry.
The horse stuff, yes.
Nice. Talk about a diverse bunch here.
Yeah, that's good.
It is good.
You need to diversify, you know.
Yes.
You can't just, be a specialist in one area these days. But that's another topic completely. But anyways, this week there's some news, of course, out of Facebook about their update login, right?
Yeah. So as you all know, Facebook has this login feature that they use and allow third-party developers to integrate with their login feature to make it easy and fast for people to get into their mobile applications or even websites for commenting systems and things like that.
Sure.
So really kind of what's been happening in the past is when you log into an app, whether it be on iOS or Android, and you use Facebook, what's been happening is the app has had the ability to post updates to your timeline, to your Facebook timeline. And a lot of people are getting ticked off with that, right? Yeah. I mean, they play this Candy Crush game, right? I'm sure you guys see it all the time. I just scored whatever in Candy Crush. It's like, who cares? So
you can turn that off. I mean, you are giving them permission to do so, to post onto your timeline.
Right, but that's an extra step.
Yes, exactly. And they make it on purpose that way. It should be the other way.
Right. And well, now it is. So basically what Facebook is rolling out is they're creating a clearer separation between logging in with Facebook and giving the app permission to post to your timeline.
Exactly.
So now when these app developers are going to have to conform with these new guidelines. So now you'll have the ability to be able to actually log in with Facebook. It says that you're logging in, and then there'll be another button that says, do you give permission to the app to promote, to post to your timeline? And you can choose no, and then go into the settings later and change that, which is good.
You know what? Honestly, I think that, all of the social media networks out there should, come up with some type of policy that makes it, how you change passwords once a month, or let's say your bank, they say every 30 days or 45 days you need to change your password.
Right.
I think they need to do something whereas every 30 days or whatever it is, it pops up a little warning and says, do you give permission for X, Y, Z, Q, R, S, T, all these people to post onto your, post as you or review your stuff or whatever it is.
Right.
And it's now front and center. You don't have to search for it. You know, every 30 days, every person is going to get it, and they're going to be able to toggle stuff on and off as they wish. So, I think that would be, something moving forward. It would benefit us being the user. And, it would cost for less confusion because, people listening, they're like, oh, I didn't know that you can even do that. You authorize and all of a sudden they have like full control to post whatever they, Yes, and that's why they make these. Right. That's why they make these dollar apps because they want to post to your timeline. They could care less about the 99 cents. They want to post to your timeline.
That's right, because they post to your timeline. More people will learn about their apps. More people will go over, download, install the apps, and a lot of these developers are making money through the advertising.
Exactly.
Or if it is a paid app and they are offering in-app purchases or upgrades or things like that. Obviously, the more people using the app, the more money they're going to make. So, I mean, I get it from a business standpoint, but from a user standpoint, it's just not great. It's not a great experience. I mean, I hate seeing these updates in the timelines. I mean, I really don't care about what game you're playing. I mean, if it's one of my close friends and we're playing the game together and we wanted to post like, hey, I beat your butt,
a different story.
But I really don't want to see all that stuff. I mean, and through the desktop, you can actually go in and click on those types of posts and say, hide those posts that you don't want to see those types of posts. And then you can also go into the apps on mobile and tell it not to post. But so many people don't even think about that.
Yeah, they don't know to do it. We talked about this like a couple of shows back, right, Trev, regarding, I think it was Twitter or something, and how we authorize so many applications and so many places to basically have control over our Twitter account, find out, who our friends are, what we're doing, post to our timeline, on and on and on.
Right.
And unless we go in there and actually, make this effort to find out who has this authorization, and then deny the people that we no longer want to be authorized, we're at risk of being hacked, at minimum.
Well, that, and that brings up actually a really good point. Kind of as a public service announcement, go into your Twitter accounts and change your passwords and revoke any unused OAuth applications. The spam has been hitting hot and heavy again. I just lost 20 pounds and here's how you can do it too. I mean, if I get one, I get 100 of those a day, and it's so annoying. And honestly, people, I hate to say it, the thing that I find most is when people's accounts get hacked, they're the ones who are less active because they're not seeing their own posts going on. So I've kind of made a new policy that if I start getting a lot of these tweets coming through from the same users, I just unfollow them.
Yeah, and that is what can happen, and that is the hugely negative side effect of being hacked. Is that you will lose a lot of followers. And if you use this as a means to communicate, let's say with your clients, past clients, future clients, or whatever, you do not want to lose people because you're currently, bombarding people with how to lose weight or some new product or something that you don't even know that's happening. And, they've done this for years and years and years by, commandeering your email list through some type of injection code or something, and then all of a sudden every person that's on your email database, all your contacts are being emailed about this new product that you're using. So, it's the same thing now with social media. So go into your OAuth, definitely cancel anyone's. If you don't know who these people are, just cancel them, shut them down.
Cancel it. Yeah, revoke the access. Any application that you've totally forgotten about that you even had access to.
Then you don't need it. Right?
Get rid of it. I mean, obviously, we've got Hootsuite, right? I mean, a lot of us use Hootsuite. A lot of us use other apps that are very popular. Well, these apps are going to be fairly well protected. And if you are using them, then you're probably safe. Just change your password every once in a while. But I highly recommend, if you're using Hootsuite, you want to display a column that shows your tweets and that also shows your outbound direct messages. And you want to monitor those. Because if you're not monitoring those, you don't know what you're sending.
You don't know what you're saying.
You don't know what you're saying to people. That's right.
What are you saying, Trevor? I don't know.
A little public service announcement. That's a bonus for this week's show.
That is right. That's right. So now embedded posts now available to everyone instead of the selected few, right?
Yeah. A couple weeks
Very
ago.
cool.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Facebook was rolling out embedded posts to a few select people, a few select companies and all to kind of test it out. And now it's rolled out to everyone. And this is kind of cool. It allows you to go to any public facing Facebook post. And in the upper right corner, there's a drop down arrow. You can click on that and grab the embed code. So if somebody put up a great post on Facebook that you wanted to repurpose on your blog, let's say, you could actually go grab the embed code, log into your blog, drop it on a page or in a blog post or something like that, and embed it. It's really
neat.
It is. It's really, really cool. What I really like too, from a marketing standpoint, is you posting original content on your Facebook page and then embed that content on your blog through this embedded post. And then whatever promotion you get through your blog, whatever type of traffic you get or what have you, that gives them the ability to read the post, to like it, to comment on it. And it all goes into your Facebook aggregate of authority.
Right. Your stats.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's like a 2-4. Right?
It really is. It really is. I mean, since they've got this new, algorithm that they've been rolling with now, I mean, the stuff from your Facebook page is probably not getting in everybody's news streams. And what you need to do is you need to build that authority. You need to, get more interactivity with your followers. And the more you get, the more it'll get shown, and so on and so on.
So, if you guys, just to make it nice and simple, if you just go to, I'm sure most people have been onto YouTube. If you go down, you're watching a video, you go down to a little button that says share, you click share, and it has, multiple options on how you can share it. One of them is an embed code. You just simply copy paste that embed code into your website or whatnot, and it automatically puts that video into your website or onto Facebook or whatever. It's the exact same type of process. You just grab that embed code and you can kind of use it at will, which is really cool because now with the YouTube, you're basically advertising YouTube. With Facebook, now you're basically advertising Facebook for them, so they don't mind it. They don't mind you taking that quote unquote content and repurposing it because it's, fully branded. So it's really cool. It's really great. It's got, like we said, a 2-4 principle behind it. So, kind of boost
the advantage I see to embedded posts over embedding a YouTube video, though, is embedding a YouTube video is like a free way to host your content and then put it on your website. Right. Granted, you'll get organic search traffic going to YouTube to look at your video, but ideally, you're putting up a blog post, you want to share a video with people, you don't want to have to pay for the bandwidth. So what do? We upload it to YouTube and we embed it on the site. That's great. But this actually allows you to add content to both your Facebook page and your blog and actually build your authority through commenting and likes and shares. And other people can embed that same post off of your blog onto their blog. So it gives that whole viral sharing part of it. And what's really neat too now, if you upload a video to Facebook and you have that as part of your post, you know that when you look at it on the desktop and everything, that video shows there. Well, now when you embed a post that has a video in it, that video is actually playable right from the embed code on your website. So now it's not like a thumbnail image that somebody clicks and it has to go over to Facebook to watch it. They can actually watch it right on your website. So that's another really great added feature.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yes.
Awesome. You know what? We've talked about this in the past. The idea of hacking your camera, right?
Yes.
And we were talking, for months back about cameras that basically have, like, for example, a Unix backend to it or an Android backend to it, and now you can download apps and all kinds of stuff and actually do different things, more advanced things than you can with the standard firmware. Well, we found that lensrentals.com is actually now shipping a Canon 5D Mark III with Magic Lantern built into it. Magic Lantern, the firmware update.
Yeah, that firmware
is
hack.
That cool? Can you imagine?
That is really cool. A lot of professional videographers and such have been using Magic Lantern for a while with their 5D Mark IIs and stuff, and that gave users a lot of added features that you just did not have with the standard firmware, the software that was built into the camera. So now this firmware hack, basically, it is a hack, but it's that sounds like you're doing something naughty. I mean, you
could always bring it back.
You can always revert it back.
So. But yeah, it is. It's basically a brand new firmware update, is what it is. Brand new firmware.
Yeah,
and they modified it to do a couple of extra things that the original one doesn't do. One is support raw video. It's like wow, that alone is so huge. Raw video, that's nuts.
That's
and then
cool.
Also it's giving you an extra 4 EV, a couple of extra stops of light. And we know extra stops of light is good. I mean, you're going to end up, with better shots, less noise in the darks, in the shadow. So
yeah, they have this cool. It's called dual ISO. This feature, It's kind of neat. It allows you to increase your dynamic range, basically through a hack. It shoots one row of pixels at like ISO 100 and the second row of pixels at ISO 1600.
Right.
And it basically combines them. Which is a total hack. I mean, and there's even like a warning saying your camera is not designed to work like this. You could fry your sensor type of deal. But so I don't know if you really want to use it. But the idea behind it is that you can shoot these images that have so much more detail in the shadow and not the noise that you would normally have, and without blowing out your highlights.
Yeah, and the only side effect here is, remember, you're doing 2 rows will turn into 1 row because it's basically taking 2 rows of light, interpolating it into 1 row.
Right.
Basically merging the 100 ISO with the 1600 ISO and creating 1 row instead of 2. So you lose, obviously, you end up with half the size of the photo, basically.
Right. Exactly.
So, but still, that's a ton of light.
It is. It's just interesting. It's interesting what you can do with software to modify the capabilities of the hardware, which is really awesome. Yeah, the Magic Lantern has a bunch of other features. You can just Google it or whatever. We'll probably even have a link in the show notes. You can check it out if you're not familiar with it. But yeah, it's like $220 something to rent the camera. It might be worth trying out. If you've been on the fence about wanting to maybe purchase a 5D Mark III, renting is always the way to go first to test it. So
absolutely, you do the same thing with lenses. Lenses. Absolutely. We know. I mean, we have tens of thousands of dollars worth of lenses, and some of the lenses just sit around because they're very specific to certain. They're situational. Let's call them.
Right.
So it's good that if you need something specific to go and rent it, it costs you, $100, let's say, and it's gone, instead of you buying it for $3,000 and
being stuck with it if you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. We do say if you're going to spend your money anywhere, don't spend it on a body, spend it on glass, because the glass will be, around a lifetime, whereas those bodies are disposable. They're,
2 years.
Like I've said in the past, I have a 1D that originally was like $5,000 to $7,000, and now it's worth probably $100.
Yeah.
So, and it shoots a grand total of 4.2 megapixels or something, 5 megapixels, whatever.
Yep.
So, at 5,000, $5,000.
Yeah.
Anyway, so before we go any further, guys, let's go ahead and take a quick break to hear from a couple of our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener.
As photographers, we're always trying to increase sales and profits after every event.
We shoot an event and have hundreds or even thousands of images that just sit on our hard drives.
Perhaps a better workflow would increase sales by getting those valuable images in front of the client.
That's where ShootProof comes in. At shootproof.com, you can have an online gallery for all of your clients' proofing needs.
ShootProof helps increase profits while building your brand and securing your photos without charging commission fees on sales.
ShootProof galleries display your photos beautifully while helping to streamline your workflow and automate more of your business through their intuitive studio control panel.
Once approved, photos can be directly fulfilled through ShootProof's various professional lab partners or fulfilled by you.
All ShootProof plans have the same feature set. You simply choose the number of client photos stored, decide what products to sell, and the price.
Try ShootProof today by taking advantage of their free 30-day trial offer.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, ShootProof is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans by using promo code DPC20 at checkout.
ShootProof. Upload, share, sell, print.
All right, so we're back. And, some interesting news this week, too. Tamron is launching this garden macro photography contest, which sounds kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. We're always on the lookout for kind of neat contests and stuff that, the different companies are doing. And then, what do you win? That's always like a major point. Are you winning something that's great? Well, this is pretty good. This one's kind of cool. Basically, you are submitting anywhere from, I think it's 8 to 14 images that have to do with macro photography in your garden. Nice. So it's kind of neat. I like the whole premise of it. Everyone says, oh, don't shoot flowers. Well, there's a difference between capturing a flower or making the flower look like a piece of art.
Yeah.
And your goal would be to make that flower look like art, or whatever the scene is, or maybe not a scene, maybe it's, a leg of a spider. Who knows what it is? But the idea is macro photography, and the winner gets, which is kind of neat, one of my favorite lenses of all times, and that is the Tamron 90 millimeter f2.8. That is the sharpest lens like in my kit, including all of the glass from Canon and everywhere else. That's just a really, really tack sharp lens. It's a nice lens, beautiful, great glass, and wide open at 2.8. It's beautiful. So anyways, yeah, you have from, I think it's, the 19th of this month, August, all the way to September 19th to submit it. And you have to submit it over to myphotoexhibits.com to enter to win.
So we'll put 18 or over too.
18 and over, right? Yeah. So we'll put.
And they make you sign your life away, so they can actually have use of your images.
Exactly.
So
affidavit saying that you shot it. Someone else didn't. Yep.
And they're gonna. I mean, obviously, they're going to want to post it on the website. They're going to want to post it out in public so people can see it.
Yeah,
so
it might be in a magazine. Yeah, maybe you'll be in a magazine as their new ad. Who knows?
Right.
But it's not going to hurt you. That's for sure.
No. I mean, that's the point of entering a contest, right?
Absolutely. So, yeah. So it's kind of cool. Tamron 90 millimeter, great lens. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyways, now we also have Canon releasing the new PowerShot, the G16. Now we've talked about the G everything, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we're thinking that, eventually be a G20 or I don't know. So this is now a G16, probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
Not far off.
We'll be talking about it like next summer. Be like, hey, Trev, did you hear about the G20?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So the G16 is out. We've always said that we like this camera, and I personally like it for one major reason, and that's it gives you full control. Even though it's like a point and shoot, it's got the little, retractable lens that goes in and out, which I hate. But the point is, it allows you full control over it. It has all the dials, all the whistles and bells that you would have on a big DSLR, but on the small point and shoot, it does, amazing ISO. This stuff looks just really nice at higher ISO, number one. Number two, it's sitting at, I think it's like 1.8 to 2.8. So you're going to get some milky backgrounds. And, it's just all around good. I mean, you can throw on, like, for example, a Pocket Wizard and shoot off flashes,
Sure you can, yeah.
all kinds of stuff with a little point and shoot, which you can't do with most of the rest, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, these G series PowerShot cameras, I mean, they have always kind of been the walk around camera for professionals, the pocket camera for professionals. And, this one looks pretty cool. It's got built-in Wi-Fi, which is the way things are going. And that gives you the ability to wirelessly share your photos on social networks through email and all that stuff.
Right.
And they also have an iOS and Android app for your phones that will allow you to interface with the camera, grab the images off it, and then send it through the mobile network. So then you could, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can, a Wi-Fi external network,
right.
You can still grab the photos off your camera and send them out through a mobile network, which is cool.
Yeah, it probably creates like some kind of like little...
It's like an ad hoc Wi-Fi.
Little ad hoc,
yeah.
Exactly. It turns itself into a server. I don't know. So, that's really cool. It's got the brand new Digix 6, which is nice. 12 megapixels, 12.1 megapixels.
Yeah, CMOS sensor, so it's a bigger sensor. Yeah,
exactly. The one thing that I was watching a video on this camera, and they were showing like, the frame rate that this thing shoots. Yeah. And the guy was like shooting in it. It sounds like a machine. It's like,
I know.
It's shooting at 9.3 frames per second continuous. I mean, that is like that's crazy. I mean,
that's fast for shooting still images. I mean, videos, let's say it's 24 or 30 frames per second. I mean,
right.
We're nowhere near that here, but I mean, that's a lot of frames per second for still images.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's great for shooting your kids playing soccer or football or anything like that,
Do street photography, it's great. Any kind of sports where you're getting, a lot of movement and stuff. I mean, that's a nice frame rate. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, it has, 1080p. Love that, right?
Yep, 1080p and 60p, 60.
It's frames per second.
Yeah,
so it does probably 24. It probably does 30, or 29.97 all the way up to 60. If you shoot 60, you can use that later on in post and do some slow-mo, kind of stuff with it. In editing, it's got a built-in stereo mic. The one thing that I didn't see is a external stereo mic input. That's the one thing that, I just wish they would just stick that in there. I don't believe that it's there. If I'm wrong, call me out on it, but I don't think it's there. And that's something that, I want to see it. It's it's a $600 device. I want to see. You need to have some. If you're going to do video, I don't care if it's Canon, Nikon, who it is. You need to put a stereo built-in mic where you can actually, not the built-in mic, but an adapter where you can actually put an external mic into the camera. So that's the one thing that I'm like, I don't know. That's they could work on that a little bit.
Yeah, they can. It does have HDMI out. So you can take this high def video that you just shot, play it on your big TV, or pull it off through a capture card potentially, which is interesting. They've got a couple new nighttime shooting modes, which whatever it's it's good to experiment with, but again, that's why we have
HDR. The HDR shooting mode.
Yep.
It's just all the little catchphrases to,
They got all the new cool gadgets and features and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it's supposedly going to be available in October for $549.99, so $550. So
yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
We're approaching entry-level DSLR body-only range at that price.
Exactly.
But it's a very small camera that will fit in your pocket, whereas the DSLR won't.
Exactly. It's in your pocket. And like we said, pros like it because they retain all of the control over their shots. So they can actually be creative and create art instead of snapshots with that camera. So I like it. I've always liked it. I think it's a good, even the G line, the G12, on and on. They've all been, solid entry cameras for that market, for the pro and pro-am that wants full control. So
sure. Just kind of a little side note. We were at an amusement park this past week, and there was a lady there with her DSLR, and kind of an entry-level DSLR and all. And she had this thing strapped over one shoulder. She'd even have it around her neck or across chest or anything. it looks so awkward and so uncomfortable. So I kind of just go up to her a little bit and say, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but there's a company called Black Rapid that makes this really great strap.
Right.
And
then you have to put the little caveat in there. We are not.
Yeah,
they're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor, but yeah, seriously, guys, those straps carrying the big cameras around is so awkward, especially when you're out at some place like that, an amusement park or a sporting event or something like that, and you've got this big heavy thing hanging around your neck. I just don't know of anything much more uncomfortable than that. Right. And that Black Rapid straps, I mean, we need to bring them as a sponsor.
You know what, we talked about that.
Get an affiliate or something, but
I know, exactly. We talked about that at the beginning of the summer, and we said, I went through the entire spiel about, listen, take the camera that you need for the specific job. And if the job is just, going to a park and capturing, moments in time and not creating art, bring a point and shoot. If you don't want your iPhone or your Android phone or whatever to take the shots, and you want something a little bit more, take a look at this this brand new G16 or something similar to that, where you get really good photos but compact. Now, if she was having something like this, that's like
that's
a quarter of a pound instead of 5 pounds hanging around her neck, she would have been a lot more
comfortable, and honestly probably would have made just as good of shots for what she was shooting.
Maybe even better, because she would probably use it more.
Yes, exactly.
So,
all right, anyways, man, I think that's it. We are done. So if people want to connect with you outside of the show, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You can find me on Twitter, and that's at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H.
Great. And you can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Current.
All right, everyone, we are out of here. You can get all of the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/118. And don't forget to send your questions and comments to comments@digitalphotographycafe.com, or simply call 440-345-6707. Once again, that's 440-345-6707. And we will see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Current and Joseph Christina. Be sure to subscribe to the show for free in iTunes or through RSS. You can also listen on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio and watch in HD on TiVo. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.